The family unit is under a vicious attack in these last days.
At 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 11 to 13, and let's look that up together. Jehovah warns you and I about a specific threat to our loyalty, one that has the potential to challenge the very limits of our devotion. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, beginning with verse 11. But now I am writing you to stop keeping company with anyone called a brother who is sexually immoral, or a greedy person, or an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, not even eating with such a man. For what do I have to do with judging those outside? Do you not judge those inside, while God judges those outside? Remove the wicked person from among yourselves. Jehovah has made it crystal clear that contact and exposure to unrepentant wrongdoers can and will significantly weaken our relationship with him. Some in Satan's permissive world may view disfellowshipping as extreme or drastic or harsh. While it is a strong measure, it certainly has its benefits. It keeps Jehovah's organization morally clean and his name from reproach. It also protects you and I from bad associates, including messages that apostates and others have used to spread wrong ideas. And disfellowshipping very well may help the sinner to return to Jehovah. But loyal Christians would not associate with anyone called a brother who is practicing serious sin. In fact, this is true even if no congregation action has been taken, as may be the case with an inactive one. This can be especially challenging when it comes to a family member, when it involves somebody we love. The tensile strength of our loyalty to Jehovah can be put to the test. However, we must not allow strong family ties to compromise loyalty to Jehovah and to his organization. Those who have had a family member disfellowship likened it to the deepest hurt that they've ever experienced. They describe a cascade of emotions ranging from frustration to negativity to just simply feeling overwhelmed. If you've ever experienced this sort of heartbreak, please know that Jehovah understands the exquisite pain associated with losing a family member.
I ended up getting disfellowshipped.
Sonia Erickson has been disfellowshipped.
It crushed my whole family.
Okay, to continue the meeting, we may remember last month's Thursday.
My family missed me so much, even after all I had done. What helped them to remain loyal to Jehovah for the many years I was disfellowshipped? It was the Bible account of Aaron. Jehovah directly judged 2 of Aaron's sons and put them to death. In this case, Jehovah asked Aaron and his family not to mourn, in order to show the entire nation that they supported Jehovah's judgment. Mom and Dad saw that they needed to be loyal, just like Aaron. They loved me and wanted me to come back to Jehovah. I tried to contact them. I just wanted to talk and to hear their voice. I missed being with my family, and they thought about reaching out to me. But they knew that if they had associated with me, even a little, just to check on me, that small dose of association might have satisfied me. It could have made me think that there was no need to return to Jehovah. I was disfellowshipped for more than 15 years. I had 2 children now, and as time went by, I thought about their future. I thought more and more about returning to Jehovah in the congregation. So I decided to go to the Kingdom Hall for the first time in many years. Nearly a year later, my reinstatement was announced to the congregation.
Sonia Erickson is reinstated as one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
I was so happy. The brothers and sisters welcomed me very warmly. Being back together again with my family and Jehovah made me feel so good. I knew this is where I needed to be, and I didn't ever want to leave again.
Let each of us be resolved to let nothing undermine the effectiveness of Jehovah's discipline. Remember that loyalty to Jehovah is the glue that holds our spiritual life together, so let nothing, even the improper course of a disfellowship family member, weaken that bond. However, we must not allow strong family ties to compromise loyalty to Jehovah and to his organization.
This situation pulls at our hearts, and it can result in tears and heartache for years. And it's when a family member is disfellowshipped. And this may be something that divides a family like nothing else. It may be one of our greatest tests of our loyalty. The pain could be so great, we can say, Jehovah, what do you want from me? This is a member of my family that I love. What does Jehovah expect out of us? Even if the situation is so painful that we have a family member who is disfellowshipped, what does he want? Loyalty. That's what Jehovah wants.
We must not allow strong family ties to compromise loyalty to Jehovah and to his organization.
Jehovah knows that this is a difficult time in our life, but he wants loyalty. We have to put him before a father, a mother, and even our children, if they're disfellowshipped. And if the disfellowshipping of our family is not bad enough, loyalty to Jehovah may mean we even have to endure reproach. We may be hurting because I can't talk to my family member. And then someone walks up to us that we work with and said, I thought you were a Christian. Why won't you talk to your children? Or the disfellowship person may say, my family kicked me out of the family. However, remember, the wrongdoer changed his relationship with Jehovah and his family. It was their actions that affected the family, not ours. If they would have remained faithful, the family would still be intact. Lastly, respect the arrangement for discipline. Brothers and sisters, this is hard. Simply put, respect the decision that resulted in our family member being disfellowshipped. This is the best decision for everybody. Disloyalty to Jehovah's arrangement is not going to work. For example, when someone is disfellowshipped, one of the reasons they want to come back into Jehovah's organization is to associate with the brothers and sisters in the congregation and likely to associate with their family. So if we associate with them when they are disfellowshipped, we could actually be taking away from them a motivating factor for wanting to be reinstated. Remain loyal to Jehovah. Doing so in every situation is the best.
We must not allow strong family ties to compromise loyalty to Jehovah and to his organization.
Each person has to have a personal relationship with Jehovah. Even young ones that are disfellowshipped, it's because their relationship with Jehovah was weak. Avoid the if-only games. If only we would have preached more. If only I would have talked to them more. If only we would have done more in the organization. If only. The disfellowship person left Jehovah. They knew the results of their actions. They are the ones that made the wrong choice. Don't blame ourselves. And finally, brothers, do not, never give up. Leave the matter in Jehovah's hands. Remember, even if we could get involved in their life, which we cannot do anything in comparison to what Jehovah can do. He knows their hearts. He knows their thinking. He knows what they need much more than we do, even more than a loving parent. Remember, in all cases, being loyal to Jehovah
and to his organization
is the most important thing. Regarding family members who oppose us or family members who are disfellowshipped, the vital question is, to whom am I going to be loyal? To whom do I have greater affection? If we have more affection for anybody on this earth, whether it's a father, a mother, a son, or a daughter, than we do for Christ Jesus, we are not worthy of him.
Let's now look at some examples of how our brothers and sisters around the world faithfully champion the truth. Chris?
Thank you, Brother Loesch. When a dear friend or perhaps even a family member leaves the truth, it can be a very challenging situation. It can truly be a test of our faith when we see something like that take place. While watching this dramatization, pay attention to how the mother was able to champion the truth by remaining loyal to Jehovah.
My name is Gabriella. Ben and I have always enjoyed attending the meetings. But lately, it's been difficult. Something was missing. Our son. It was like watching a movie of someone else's family. I couldn't believe this was happening to us. Our son Levi was no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. The elders and friends in the congregation were so supportive and understanding. Many of them watched Levi grow up, give his first talk, get baptized. I was so torn. I was disappointed in Levi for leaving Jehovah, but I was more disappointed in myself. I felt like we failed him somehow. I kept wondering how he was doing. Was he okay? Then, as hard as the past few weeks had been, it just got harder. I knew what the Bible said about quit mixing in company with anyone who is not living according to Christian standards, but I never thought that scripture would one day apply to me. Later that evening, a brother was talking about the example of Korah's sons. Jehovah confirmed that he was using Moses to lead his people, not Korah. When the people were told to move away from the rebels' tents, what would Korah's sons do? Would they put loyalty to family ahead of loyalty to Jehovah? The Bible tells us that his sons remained loyal to Jehovah and were blessed for it. That night, after the meeting, I told Ben about the text I received from Levi. I told him everything. How I miss Levi so much, but that I also wanted to be loyal to Jehovah, like Korah's sons. Ben admitted that he too had been struggling with feelings like mine. But then, he said something that I hadn't thought of. If we were to stand between Levi and the discipline he needs, we would in effect be blocking an expression of Jehovah's love from reaching him. In fact, it's our very loyalty to Jehovah that could save his life. We agreed to continue to put our trust in Jehovah and stay loyal to him. It's been 5 years now, and while Levi still hasn't returned to Jehovah, I haven't given up hope on him. Until that day, I'm staying busy as a regular pioneer and focusing my energies on helping others learn about Jehovah. I've come to experience firsthand the truth of Psalm 97:10. Jehovah really does guard his loyal ones.
We must not allow strong family ties to compromise loyalty to Jehovah and to his organization.
However, we never, ever give up on our children, do we? In line with this, we'd like to now speak with Robert and Brenda Sutton. They too serve as Bethelites at the Warwick facility. And prior to coming to New York, brother and sister Sutton raised 3 children. However, at a certain point, you mentioned something changed with one of your children. Could you share that with us?
Well, at one point, one of our children took a job and was exposed to questionable association with coworkers, and sadly, this led to a disfellowshipping.
Tell us, how did you handle that bitter disappointment?
Well, it was one of the hardest things that I ever had to face. I had many sleepless nights praying to Jehovah, but I came to realize that we needed to trust in what Proverbs 22 and verse 6 says. Train a boy in the way he should go. Even when he grows old, he will not depart from it.
So we understand that your child is doing well spiritually, and we're very happy about that. What was it that moved your child to return to Jehovah?
Well, it was the missed association with the family, and here's why. I had always told our kids, I told our kids that I would die for you, I love you, would die for you, but if you ever leave Jehovah, I wouldn't be there. And they knew that we wouldn't waver on this. But sad to say, and as hard as it was, we had to cut off all association.
We must not allow strong family ties to compromise loyalty to Jehovah and to his organization.
For example, Isaiah 48:18. Jehovah says, if only you would pay attention to my commandments, then your peace would become like a river, and your righteousness like the waves of the sea. Beseeching, but not forcing. Now think about it. If Jehovah doesn't force, he doesn't want us to force either, does he? For example, parents need to be very careful they don't just simply push their children to serve Jehovah, but rather lovingly, beseechingly, like Jehovah, try to reach the heart and, of course, clearly show them the blessings that will come their way if they do.
Many of us are concerned about how to care well for aging parents, not only because of what it says in the quoted portion of today's text, but also because of the phrase at the end of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 4. If you tap the citation at the end of today's text, you get the rest of the verse, namely, for this is acceptable in God's sight. And that tells us just how important a matter this is. Notice the interlinear rendering. The term translated godly devotion is literally to be revering well, which could denote being generally virtuous toward anyone, and perhaps that's why a number of translations in our list here in JW Library simply say to show piety. Still others, such as the Jerusalem Bible, render the term to do their duty. But honoring our parents is more than just our duty toward humans. It's more than just virtue for its own sake. The verse itself says this is acceptable in God's sight. So we love our parents, yes. They deserve our care, yes. That's virtuous, of course. But principally, we care for our aging parents because we revere Jehovah. We care about what Jehovah says is right conduct toward family members.
After 50 years, Mary Lou and her husband Bill left the Jehovah's Witness organization. This decision came after a dark secret of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society came to light. Jessica, the granddaughter of Mary Lou and Bill, is still an active member of the organization. Since her grandparents left, she has refused to see or speak to them. She lives approximately 2 miles away. Bill's health was declining. He reached out to Jessica, in hopes to take one last family portrait. He hoped he could see his granddaughter, one last time. Bill passed away in 2004, without seeing his granddaughter.
Hello, Jessica. I am 93 years old. I will be 94 in January, and my eyesight is going bad. I'd love to see you before I lose my eyesight. Remember, you're the granddaughter that I took care of ever since you was born. And I love you. I still love you, and I would love to see you. Would you please call me or come by to see me? I'd love to see you, but I don't know what else to do. I've called you, and you hung up on me, and that wasn't very nice. So if you will come by or call me, I'd love to see you. After all, I took care of you ever since you was born. And other people are very nice to me, except Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mary Lou wishes she could see her granddaughter one last time before she loses her eyesight or passes.
The comments point out that exactly how children provide care varies because situations vary. But here's 4 practical things we can do. First, communicate. Second, determine the real needs. Third, have reasonable expectations. And fourth, always remember to throw your burden on Jehovah. First, turn please to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 22. Communicate, communicate, communicate. And what does this result in? It says, plans fail when there is no consultation, but there is accomplishment through many advisors. So keep in touch, call, write, email, text, Skype, once a week, more often, especially as they age. Satisfy their spiritual needs. Keep them apprised of what's going on at Bethel and the rich treasures you enjoy here in your service. Care for their emotional needs by reminding them just how valuable they are.
Yes, if each of us cherishes the Christ in our hearts to the point that he dwells or resides there constantly, our family will not only survive, but it will truly thrive.